Kendall Jenner is the highest paid model in the world, a title she first gained in 2018 and has since maintained over the last 4 years. But on the latest episode of On Purpose with Jay Shetty, Kendall Jenner took a visit to join Jay Shetty to discuss everything from mental health, anxiety, and the ins and outs of being a model. She also talked about much more stuff that she's never opened up about, and part of the trailer of this interview was initially hyped up over on Jay Shetty's Instagram page a few days prior to the episode coming out, and people were all around really excited to see this interview and everything Kendall Jenner had to open up about. The description of the podcast read, "Today I sit down with the one and only Kendall Jenner. Kendall is a successful business founder, international supermodel, founder of the incredible successful tequila brand 818, and star on the Hulu's The Kardashians. Kendall shows us a different side of her as she shares how her curiosity for people with brilliant minds and doing so much to give back to the world has eventually led to this interview." We all know Kendall Jenner began modeling at the age of 14, but lo and behold, everything isn't as picture perfect as it has been shown to be online, as Kendall implies. The Kardashian star admitted in this episode that she had to take a break from her career for mental health purposes. She began to explain how she started to set boundaries for herself, how she started to accept saying no to people, and how she genuinely had to be better for herself in order for her to keep her circle happy.
Like I said, I look back and the things that I've accomplished, just even my job, like I think I really at one point when I was younger decided I want to be a model and this is what I want to do. And the fact that I executed, I was 14 years old when I kind of made that decision and was like, this is what I want to do. And I went to my mom and I was like, please help me do this. And I think I'm proud of myself for being that kid and being determined to do that and then executing and doing it to the level that I had done it and that I guess I still do. There was a long period of time, I'd say the core 5 years of it, that I was extremely overworked, not my happiest, not because I wasn't doing what I loved, but just because I was overwhelmed.
Something that sparked a huge controversy was when Kendall implied that she overworked throughout her career. People were just not buying into it, saying that she rarely does any shows to be talking about overworking, and brought up the fact that she was already brought into a rich family, saying, overworked? She walks 2 shows each season. Didn't she say she cherry-picked her jobs and could never do 30 shows in a season? Doesn't she do like 5 shows a season? Someone has been media trained, lol. God forbid she worked hard. Yeah, easy to execute and get to that level when you are a rich Nepo teenager. Do they genuinely believe their own lies? I know she worked hard and perhaps it was too much for her, which is totally valid, but to say that she was overworked still doesn't make sense how she says this, but said months ago that she doesn't work as hard as these other girls, meaning other models. Kendall also talked about how she isn't fond of how she's represented on the media. She spoke about internet trolls and how people online don't even know half of her life.
That's another thing for me. You know, there's so many false narratives about me. Like, so many people think they have you figured out when they don't even know the half of it. So sitting there and being like, you know, you get frustrated sometimes. It could feel really unfair. You could be reading something that someone is saying about you or hearing something that someone's saying about you and being like, that is so unfair because that's not who I am. Mm-hmm. And that really gets to me sometimes and that really sucks. But then looking at myself in the mirror and being like, but I know who I am. Mm-hmm. And that's all. Why does anything else matter? Everything else is just noise.
To which people responded saying things like this. It's awkward you say that because we do know the half of it. We know the half of it and it makes her mad. Literally, their entire lives have been displayed for the world to see. Now, I do have to say the reactions and some of the things people had to say about this episode have been far different over on YouTube than on TikTok, you guys. Over on YouTube, many people have been saying things like this, where they've been empathizing with Kendall and really priding her into opening up about mental health and her anxiety struggles on social media. One person said, "I never understood why people don't like Kendall. She was and still is so sweet to everyone. She understands her privilege and talks about real issues all the time. She cares about mental health issues since ever, always talks about how she feels, but people try to make her look bad just for likes. She's really grown on me since she's been on this spiritual path. It's always a joy to see such highly famous people have this mentality. I can only imagine it's even harder to tap into when you're at their level with all the distractions they have. Good for you, Kendall." Another person says, "Kendall seems incredibly humble and willing and eager to learn. I can see so clearly how deeply she listens because she knows that she is receiving wisdom and she wants to implement it into her life to be the best version of herself that she can be in this current physical expression. I also think it's so endearing how her inner child shines so radiantly through. I can see when she's talking about her own experiences that she doesn't seek for validation or justification. She just adds the segments that ring true to her and her life to almost give evidence for the topic of conversation or what Jay is saying, perhaps because that enables her to implement these tools of spirituality into her life that way. However, being in the spotlight hasn't made it any easier for Kendall, especially in a family that everyone on social media has an opinion about. And it's clear that Kendall lives a much more private life than most of the other Kardashians."
And, a super long explanation for that. It was so simple for me as a kid. Like, it was just as simple as that made me happy. And that's just what I wanted. And it explains, I guess, a lot of me now. I went through like a phase where I felt like I had to be around people. I think I live a very social life and my job is very social. So I was, kind of conditioned to want to be around people a lot. And then as, the pandemic came around, you're not around as many people anymore. And now I'm just re-enjoying being by myself, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And I had the best day on Sunday all by myself. I got up, I went and rode my horses. I took my niece to ride her pony. Just me and her. It was so nice. Brought her back home, went to my house, got in my cold plunge, went in my pool, laid out, journaled. Like, I was having the best day and I was just pretty much all by myself. So I enjoy it so much.
I love that. I'm sure that's...
Well, it's great to see Kendall become vulnerable on social media about her struggles and her mental health and what she's done to improve her mental well-being and overall happiness, you guys. These are definitely important conversations to have, especially in a time like right now. But I definitely want to know what you guys think about the different and mixed reactions Kendall is getting about some of her takes in this episode. Definitely let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I love you guys so much, and as always, I'll see y'all in the next video.